under the category of check your beneficiary. That's a loaded question, Terry. I'm going to throw you the ball. What do we do?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the worst thing possible that could happen is you die and you forgot and left your ex-wife as the beneficiary, or ex-husband, as the beneficiary of your IRA, your life insurance policy, or if you're getting up there, think back to the olden days when you had a pension fund. And that pension fund, I mean, you started work at 26, you just left, you worked there for 17 years. They didn't know about rolling it, they didn't let you roll it. But now you die and there's a pension for you. And way back when, you named your spouse as the beneficiary. Your spouse isn't your spouse. All kinds of complications. So this is a good time. You're getting around to thinking about your income taxes. A lot of people I have IRAs all over the place because when I was setting them up, I wanted to make sure I got all the information they used to mail you in those days from T. Rowe Price and Vanguard and Fidelity and Schwab and American Century. So I have a whole bunch of them. And that's really nice because you can name a different beneficiary for each one of them if you want. But it's time to make a list. And I have this, I can dig it out right here in my bottom desk drawer of, here are my IRAs. My Fidelity IRA is, first of all, I put the toll-free number down because this is going to come up a little bit, some of my other tips. My Fidelity, the toll-free number Fidelity is, my account number is, my password, my sign-in is, they're not all my email. In fact, none of the IRAs that use my email. And my password is this. And the beneficiaries are and if not that beneficiary is alive, then the secondary beneficiary. You never want to leave an IRA to your estate. You lose all kinds of benefits in rolling it out and so forth. And if you haven't done that, do it right now. And if you go, oh my goodness, now it's easy with IRAs because you're all online and you go to the Fidelity website or Schwab or T. Rowe Price or whatever Vanguard. And you can change your beneficiary just by signing in and reviewing your stuff, just like you could change your address. You change your beneficiary. You don't like your son-in-law anymore and you were going to leave him $25,000? Leave it to someone else. Don't leave it to a minor because you need to set up a trust for a minor or the state will. But it's really easy to change beneficiaries. Now, where it's tough is insurance companies, you typically don't have that online access to your account.
And that's where we come in, Terry. My staff. Yes.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
good.
My staff. Well, if you work with us, I have, all my staff W-2 employees are not outside contractors. We will help you with that. We'll help you get your arms around all the beneficiaries and all the stuff that Terry just listed if you have annuities through us. And we can help you, go through the weeds and get all that together because you need to do that, as she said, because things change. And you might have a wandering ambiguity of a child, as I call them, that you no longer want to have 100% of what you have. You might want them to have 50%.
Now, let me tell you about some of the complications. If you go to terrysavage.com, you can see this. It's 26 states, this is weird, have, so many examples of people forgetting to change the beneficiary have happened. That 26 states and counting, and yours could be next, so don't ask me which ones, have passed something called a revocation upon divorce. And it says that they assume that you really meant to write your ex out, even though you didn't change the beneficiary. You didn't mean to. So the estate, maybe you did. Maybe it was part of your divorce decree. Honey, you'll always get my IRA. I love you. We were married 22 years, 30 years. We're divorced now, but I'm going to leave you something. I can't afford life insurance anymore because I'm older and I can't qualify for health reasons, but I'm going to make you the beneficiary of my IRA, you say to your ex. And the state comes along and says, Joe didn't mean that. We're going to make it his next of kin, which could either be his new wife or his kids. This I learned, and have you ever had Ed Slott on for your show? The IRA Help, the IRA Guru. I attended a 2-day workshop of his a couple of weeks ago. And I learned about all the ways you could screw up in naming your beneficiary. Now, here's something interesting. Take a divorced man. This is a real case. I went to the Supreme Court. He named his kids as beneficiaries on his plan documents. This applies to ERISA plans like pension and 401k. But when he remarried, okay, the state law said his spouse, you know those pension laws, like if you were a policeman or a municipal worker, you could take it all over your lifetime, but your spouse has to waive her rights. And a spouse has to waive rights on an ERISA pension or a 401k. Otherwise, the spouse inherits and gets the estate. So this guy thought his second marriage, he named his kids as beneficiaries on his 401k, but the state law said that his current spouse, not his ex, but his current spouse, was really the rightful beneficiary because she hadn't signed a waiver. So I'm telling all of you that this beneficiary question, the worst part about it is when they figure out that you made a mistake, you're not going to be there to fix it. That's after you're dead.
I'm trying to figure out, Terry, how this got passed. I mean, this seems very aggressive.
Yeah, I think that
proactive.
too. What they said at the seminar was, you really want your ex-spouse to be the beneficiary, then and let's just call it an IRA. IRAs, by the way, are not subject to these ERISA laws. So IRA, the named beneficiary, the one you put in there online, that's the person that will get it. Even if you are currently married and you name your kids, an IRA is not protected under ERISA. ERISA protects 401ks and pensions, and they say that your spouse, your current spouse, has a right. So the law here is very complex, and you just want to make sure that your estate is going directly. Now, don't you have a lot of annuities, Stan, where there's a death benefit at the end if you?
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, the majority of annuities that we sell, there's so many different annuity types, but the majority, there's listed beneficiaries for the death benefit or whatever's left over in the account. And so, I'd say 99% of those annuities that we sell, and we sell more than anybody on the planet, have beneficiaries. And we tell people all the time, let's review those on an annual basis. And I think Terry's pointing that out. Definitely. We review them all the time. And remember, with annuities, beneficiaries, they can be changed as many times as you want. Just use my team to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need a lawyer. That's a big thing.
No.
I think they need a lawyer to do this.
No.
No, just name the person and then make sure that if you have a current spouse and your current spouse is not the beneficiary of an ERISA plan, a 401k or a pension, make sure that your spouse has signed a waiver. Otherwise, it's not going to your kids. It's going to the person to whom you're married when you die.
Hey, Stan the Annuity Man here. Did you like that little taste of my podcast, Fun with Annuities? Hey, if you want to see the full version, click the link and watch the whole darn thing. Remember, Fun with Annuities. Live in the reality, not the dream.